It's December 16th, 2020, and winter is here. We have winter storms all across the country. The first nor'easter of the season is crashing into southern New England and the southeastern coast. And you got to be looking for some good skiing in southern Vermont at Stratton, Bromley, Magic, Okemo. All are going to get lots of snow. But don't overlook the Connecticut and Rhode Island resorts. Hey, and if they're not open, hike it and ski it, because this could be the big one, with over 15 inches of snow reported for that area. In Massachusetts, you can go ski Wachusett, Neshoba Valley, and up in southern New Hampshire, Pat's Peak, Sunapee, Ragged. They're all going to get dumped. In the north, in the Whites, up around Loon and Waterville, and over into the Green Mountains, they're getting some snow too. But this is a southern storm, and it's going to happen big time in southern New England. You don't want to miss it. Of course, out west, we have a very active weather pattern, and we have storms moving in the southwest, 6 to 12 inches of snow in Arizona, in southern Colorado. With this very active jet stream, we're going to be snow up in the northwest beginning Friday, and snow is spreading out from northern Colorado to California, all the way up into British Columbia. So this is it. This is the winter. And what I tell you, here in Montana, we're getting our flurries and we're getting wind transported snow, which means the cream and wind buff is very good. And it's that time of year where I'm just totally not productive. I don't return calls. I don't return texts. I can't get to my email. Why? Because I'm out there wasting a perfectly good day riding lifts and skiing. And why aren't you? It's really good out there. Hi, everybody. I'm Dan Egan, and welcome to Ski Talk on skitalk.com. Ski Talk, well, we are all things winter. Our guests range from the legends of the sport to industry experts and skiers and riders like you from around the world. We welcome your comments and your questions. Put them in the chat box right there on Facebook, and we'll bring them up during the show. Tonight, we're going to be exploring the urban side of skiing and the impact our sport can have for kids with Winter for Kids. As well, we're going to look into new products by Dinosar Lang and Look. And as always, we're joined by the co-founder of Ski Talk, somebody who actually skis more than me, Phil Puglisi. Phil, how you doing, my man?
Good, Dan. How you doing?
A lot of energy out there. Tell me about Northern California. You guys going to get some of this snow?
We just got a little over a foot a couple days ago, and it is just skiing fantastic here. We're up in Mount Rose all week so far. Some really good mid-winter conditions. We're out testing some product for this year so we can extend our reviews, a product we didn't get on last year. So we're updating a lot of our product pages now as we go, and our interactive reviews. So we're happy about that. We expect some more snow tonight. We're supposed to get, I think they're talking 8 to 10 inches tonight. So tomorrow we'll have some deeper snow where we can get back on our wider skis again and get some more reviews of them up.
So don't expect a phone call or a text back from Phil or Trish. They'll be out skiing for sure. Don't bother them. They can't text and ski, please. It's all business out there. Hey, next on our panel tonight, it's Sean Mallett, President and CEO of Winter for Kids. Winter for Kids is a youth-based nonprofit organization that changes lives through winter activities. They provide coaching, experiential learning, and encourage kids to have fun while mastering Nordic, alpine, skiing, snowboarding, and their programs deliver on physical fitness and are designed to inspire participants to build confidence in the educational environment of the outdoors. I love that. Hey, Sean, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Dad. How about yourself?
Good. And I know this storm is heading your way, and you guys open there. You got your ski area open at the National Winter Activity Center?
Well, you know, our campus, as we call it, we opened up last weekend, and it was good because I think that with things like CV-19 and education going on, there is a challenge for kids today, and I would say that, you know, current and ongoing mental health, food insecurity, and the lack of any meaningful physical activity, especially now, are negatively affecting youth everywhere. And at Winter for Kids, we're committed to change that. And we did our own snowmaking last week and making it now, but with nature, we're going to add another foot to a foot and a half.
you really bring up a good point there, Sean. I mean, kids are just itching to get outside and be physical. This whole remote learning thing is just not happening for a lot of kids, and they're just dying for community. They're dying for to be involved, and you've got the perfect campus down there to do that.
Yeah, it is. And we're built to do this. We don't, unfortunately, have adults that get to ski there. Our staff doesn't. It's a sacred place for these kids. And, given this time as these kids go through it, the ability of just letting them get outside. But if you could have seen and experienced the kids who were there this weekend, albeit training, it reminded me of why we developed this particular unique environment with what we do to make kids to have a better appreciation for what the winter outdoors and activities can do for them.
Amen. I love that. That's what it's all about. Tonight, we're also joined by Dennis Gaspari, the Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Dynastar Lang & Look. Welcome, Dennis. How's it looking out there in Park City? You guys up and running?
Dan, good to see you. Yeah, resorts are open. We've had a lot of cold temps. It's been kind of high and dry for a while, but we got a system that came through last weekend, put a fair amount of snow up high. Down low, it's still kind of dust, but they've been making snow around the clock. And I have a pretty spectacular view here from both my office and my house. And so I can watch them make snow literally around the clock.
That's
It
awesome.
looks like it's going to be another great season.
Of course, and they do. It's funny. I was skiing with a former college kid of that area who said it was just too hard to get off the highway to go to class. He had to just keep going right up into the canyons, and that would be too much pressure for any kid. You know what I mean? Like, how could you do it?
Well, my son's on still online up at college, so he's been home for a while, and he's snuck out a few times and going tomorrow. So I'll get a firsthand report from him.
That's right. Absolutely. And, that beats sneaking out the third floor window like we used to do in Boston to get away and ski for the weekend. I used to take the Greyhound bus up to Vermont, tell my mom I was going to my friend's house and spend the weekend skiing at Sugarbush with John. So it's in the blood. Hey, Phil, now I know you got a lot going on there on the site at Ski Talk. Recently moved everything over to skitalk.com. And this time of year, heading into the holidays, what's happening on the forums?
Oh, we're really excited. Right now, people are able to get out and ski. So there's been a lot of cabin fever really up to this point. And we're seeing it in some of the communities, but something, people are getting out there, they're starting to ski and they're getting that release, which has been good. We've got some great conversations going on the site, and people are talking about, as far as some of the new equipment that we've got coming up this year, they're talking about getting their boots fit properly and what it's going to take to get into boot fitters and get appointments right now, which with the COVID situation happening, it's tough to get appointments, but people are realizing that they need to be patient. They're taking their time as far as getting the appointments. Boot fitters are understanding that we need to get people in the shop and get them in and out as quick as possible, and to help them get out on the slopes, because that's what we all want to do, is we want to be out there skiing and we want to be out there having fun. And whether it be on the newest gear from Look, Lang and Dynastar, or anything, just to really be comfortable out there and having fun on the hill.
Of course. Now, Dennis, I know, for the retailers, it's a blessing and a curse, everything that's been happening out there in the real world, but inventory is tight everywhere. And are you feeling the effects? So you guys shipped all the product you can and wish you had made more?
Yes, we definitely wish we had made more. When the country basically and the resorts shut down in mid-March, we had a pretty significant order book. We were doing quite well, and there was a fair amount of concern, and I wouldn't say panic, but the uncertainty led a lot of people to make some modifications to their orders and even some significant cancellations. We in turn then adjusted our production, and then as we saw in the summer and then into the fall, the appetite for sporting goods in general, and specifically snow sports equipment, is still quite strong. There's a lot of pent up demand. And then we were very fortunate to get some exceptional media coverage and test results with Gear of the Year on our new XT3 boot. And so we got not caught with our pants down, but we certainly ran out more quickly than we would have liked.
Absolutely. It's been really, who could have figured? I mean, it's been so much hard to know. Sean, as we head off here and you start another Winter for Kids, before we watch your video, just tell us a little bit about your organization.
Well, we're a unique collaboration between those who love the sport, those who compete in the sport, to create an environment for our kids who traditionally don't have access to be able to be introduced to it, given a way to master it, and then to create enriched attitudes about themselves, their health, that's nutrition and fitness, the opportunity created by, as you all know, when you get to try something new and get good at it, you want to try other things. So more opportunities, a love for the outdoors, and mastery of skiing, snowboarding, and cross country. Since 2015, 8,671 kids. We had 3,100 registered last year, and COVID-19 impacted us, so it's about 2,600. This year is kind of interesting. We've been able to pivot to leverage our campus to take academics and on-snow skills and life skills and combine them in co-op programs with schools and other youth-serving agencies that are doing either hybrid or remote types of education. And our ability to be there and to be part of a solution is what we're built for. And so not only are we taking care of the industry by creating more participants in what activities, but I think we're doing all that we can to mitigate the mental health issues that CV-19 is impacting all of us. Surely from kids, but parents, the industry, and other things that we need to come together, recover from, and then build a better future for all of us.
Absolutely, and your organization is built so well to do that. And there's a collective vibration, I say, through everybody. Some where it's speaking towards, but others that we just feel, is really quite stressful this time. And getting outside and skiing is really helpful. Well, let's go to the Winter for Kids video and get an overview of the program.
%30 of youth in the United States are classified as obese. In some neighborhoods, there are situations and circumstances that diminish dreaming at all. School attendance rates in these communities are at the bottom 10%. In Newark, an elementary school has only had one college graduate in over 2 decades. We are Winter for Kids. Unimaginable dreams, inevitable opportunities. Participants in our program gain a new outlook on opportunities for their lives, neighborhoods, and their families. We deliver for all of our participants an opportunity for better health through increased activity through the dark days of winter, provided with an introduction towards mastery of skiing, snowboarding, and cross country. These participants are on a path to become lifetime winter activity enthusiasts. During the season, they get to experience their learned skills with a directed free ski day. We know that community is an important part of staying with the sport. So each participating organization starts a Winter for Kids activity club. At the end of each season, they'll take a trip, perhaps with their family, and then we connect that club to a local mountain resort. We want to make sure that this winter activity club is a bridge to take the interest that's inspired and give them a way to continue. Stay with the sport, have fun for a lifetime. We remove those barriers of geography, visibility, social, and economics. Through our programs, participating schools have seen increased attendance, improved grade point averages, and an increase in healthy eating habits. This current year, 3,100 kids will be part of our Learn program. By 2023, we will be serving over 10,000 kids each year. Winter for Kids is programs, a facility, and a team of individuals committed and passionate to making a difference in the lives of youth through winter activities.
That's amazing, Sean. And just tell us a little bit about the campus, the ski area that is now yours, and the campus surrounding it.
Yeah, it was Hidden Valley, which was a local ski area. We ended up repurposing and re-engineering it so that we can deliver the opportunity to develop the passion and the skills for kids, leveraging the unique weather in New Jersey. So over the 4 years, or actually we're in year 6 now, we probably developed the most sophisticated ski snowmaking system, which is working right now, which has allowed us to make sure that we're 100% covered, at least 2-3 feet over 30 acres within 18 to 24 hours. And I think that campus includes surely a venue that's hosted a NORAM in New Jersey, the parallel event last year, but also trails that are appropriate for kids, and then a 1.5 kilometer loop that's all connected with snowmaking and lights so that we can provide and be available for kids whenever they need them. You know, something that's interesting, within a 70-mile radius, there are 4.5 million kids. And even when we get to 10,000 kids a year, there's still a lot out there who can start off at Winter for Kids in New Jersey and end up at Big Sky.
Absolutely, that's amazing. I know my film crew has been down there to shoot some of that snowmaking system by HKD, and we've shot some of your racing down there as well. It's a great venue for all that, and state of the art as well. So it's so exciting, and congratulations for what you do. People are looking out there, and you know, sort of the matrix for retention. I know that NSAA is really big in trial and retention. You're right at the heart of that. You're getting a lot of new people into the sport. What do you see? How do they continue on, and how do you inspire them to do that?
I think, as you know, that the retention rate for first-time skier, a metric for all of us, is about 12 to 19% within the industry. Our targets and goals are north of 65%. And we do that by, one, creating a community for each one of those kids. So each program participating organization creates a winter activity club upon which those kids, when they go back to their home neighborhoods, they have a community for them to interact. Each one of those kids come for an average of 3 years. Over those 3 years, that's 18 lessons, which is probably about 15 more than all of us have ever taken. And so there's a level of mastery that they have. And working with the industry, our intention is to have that community with a Mountain Creek or a Camelback or an Altera particular venue or a Vail venue, so that there's a path. I think what's key is that what we've done is not only introduce them, but let them master it, give them a home with the community, but also then connect them with the industry. Because just between all of us, I'm not sure that there is an organized, strategic plan to grow the absolute numbers of participants in winter sports.
I mean, that's true across the board, and there's no doubt about it. So that's great that the way you're approaching it and building the structure. And of course, the better you get at something, the more likely you are to continue. Now, Phil, last week, last show, you were telling me that the look binding was sort of in the new bindings were sort of inspired and hammered on by the pub skiers and the ski talkers. How did you work that out with Dennis? Tell us about what happened and what we're going to see next.
Well, it's maybe it's the noisy wheel gets the grease. But starting about 2016, we had a push on our site for Look to come back with one of their iconic bindings, which was the Pivot 15. It was a derivative of the Pivot 18, but a more obtainable spring rate for the majority of the skiers. There's a type of skier out there that they want the best, but they might not be the heaviest, the strongest skier out there. They might need a little bit lower of a setting, but that doesn't mean they don't want the best, highest quality interface or coupling for their boot to the ski. And Look had this binding out in Dennis could probably give the exact dates, but let's say it was probably about a little over 10 years ago, and it evolved out of the line. But it was basically the little brother to the Pivot 18, which has had just a huge following out there by free skiers and such. But that single pivot toe and all of the other Look pivot attributes of the short wheelbase, allowing that ski to flex naturally, but it was torsionally extremely rigid, and so it gives a really good solid feeling for the ski. And not all skiers need a binding that starts at an 8 or a 10, and where this binding started at a 6, it was a little more accessible for the majority of the skiers. And our graphic designer, Dave Peterson on board, who just does a fantastic job with all of his work. These are the versions that came out, but he did a whole mock-up of all the previous looks through the years and put modern graphics on it. And we went to Look with this to say, hey guys, you need to come back out with this binding. So we did a push on it, and Dennis will attest that there was enough noise out there for them to bring back the 15.
Dennis, that's amazing. You know, I have a barn full of those 18s, and I've been turned away at ski shops because they don't want to mount them sometimes because there's such a stiff spring. What's it like for you to see this product back in the marketplace?
Well, first, Phil, thank you. We're not worthy. You know, I've had a long history with Look going back to my early teens, skiing on the product to selling it in retail, skiing on it in college, and then joining the company in 2004 when actually the brand was being ushered out. And the then president of Dynastar in France was trying to rebrand both Look bindings to Dynastar as well as Kerma poles, which is a separate conversation. And we fought hard to keep the brand alive. And again, having skied on a Look turntable for a good portion of my career, I was excited to get the brand back. You know, with Pivot in particular, it's literally a decades old design, and the 18, which is the metal toe and heel, is the bomber, more durable binding that the athletes like. Somebody like myself has been skiing on it simply because I like the durability and the burliness of the metal, but I have no business skiing on a binding that starts at a 10 and ends at an 18. The 15 existed. It existed back in the 90s. They actually even had a metal 10 version. And so, long story short, there was a fair amount of interest from the market, both from Phil and his crew, and some of our larger retailers even went so far as to not just propose models, but to put quantities behind it. And that always makes it easier to sell it to the powers that be in France when you can associate some business along with it. And they brought it back, and we brought it in 3 colorways and have had wild success because it's the same price as the 18, but we grew the business by 362% over the 18 for the exact reason that Phil speaks to. It's accessible.
It's pretty great. And of course, over the years, Lang in particular has been known for some edgy sort of advertising. And I would say edginess is back here with these bindings. Let's watch one of the new videos here for one of the new bindings. Dennis, what's that all about? What's happening there?
So that was Spencer Harkins. He's an athlete of ours, but he is an employee of Pit Viper, and Pit Viper is a company that makes sunglasses, and it is more than that. But they have created quite a stir in their world of eyewear, and we partnered with them to give some personality to these colors that we were introducing. Our people in France had an idea that with each color, the Forza, which is sort of that gamer 90s color, the gold, obviously more hip hop, and the raw, which is more heavy metal, to create personalities for them. And they partnered with Pit Viper and created actual characters. And we kind of took the ski internet world by storm with over 300,000 impressions in the first few days that it launched. So we were overwhelmed and excited because, bindings aren't the most sexy part of skiing, right? Everybody goes to the skis first, and boots have got to fit and perform, and the binding is sometimes an afterthought. So we're happy that we were able to give it some energy.
Well, no doubt it's not Disney, that's for sure. Let's check out Raw. Yeah.
That's our good friend Rachel Burks, who has been a friend and an athlete for well over a decade, and she we love her. She is awesome.
That's so fun. And of course, there's one more in the line, Phil. And what is it?
I'm sorry, what?
There's one more in the line, and what is it?
Oh, there's two more in the line.
Oh, there's two more. There's four lines.
There's three. We got the raw, we got the golds, and we also have the Forza. But since we just did show the raw, let's see who won the pair of raw that we were giving away in the contest.
That's good. Who won the raw?
So we've got Brian Reef won the raw. So Brian,
awesome.
if you're out there, anybody knows Brian, make sure he reaches out. Hopefully he's online watching this. Brian signed up on our site for it. We had the contest going a couple different areas, and Brian did sign up. So he is the lucky winner of the Pivot 15 Raw.
And how about the first one we saw?
Did we do the Forza? Was the Forza first one?
Forza.
I thought we did the overall one. I'm sorry. And the Forza was won by Aaron Lieberman.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Yeah. So
amazing.
We get two winners. So hopefully Aaron and Brian are out there watching, and then we'll also do the gold up next. Let's see who won the gold.
Let's go with what's happening with the gold.
Yep.
Stop. Let's dance to the music, make you wanna ride. Check it out, y'all. To the beat. Keep on to the boogie. Now, party people, it's now your turn. Feel the heat and let me see you burn. Jump on the boogie and rock the beat. Party people, sing that melody.
Who's the lucky winner, Phil?
Tony Sieb.
Oh.
Anthony Sieb wins the gold.
That is awesome. Now, you don't have to be present to win, right?
No, you don't.
Oh, that's unfortunate for us because we just mail them around to all of us.
Well,
And-
I mean, if that was the president wins, since I can't win, I mean, you guys could each take one pair. But unfortunately, these guys did do their due diligence and signed up for the contest. So we're really excited.
And Dennis says one more binding. What is it?
Well, actually, we covered all three: the Forza, the Gold,
okay,
and the Raw. I think what Phil was talking to, we had created one video that introduced kind of all three of the characters.
Got it. And, you know, we've had a lot of pro athletes and a lot of people on the show here, Dennis. And, you know, me over the sort of the always connecting people. Sean, this is when you ask for your sponsorship from Dennis.
Well, you know, Dennis, this is pretty good. I really appreciate that lead-in. So to give you some history about Winter for Kids, when we started, we purchased everything brand new. 1,500 pairs of skis, clothing, boots, helmets. And we were blessed to be able to have the resources, mostly because we needed to prove by what we did that we were valuable to the industry. So it's 8,671 kids later, times 62%, times $35,000 as a lifetime skier. I can't do the math, but I think that's significant. And what a better connection for a corporate responsibility pitch. In addition to those fine rockers, to be able to say you made a difference with 10,000 kids.
Maybe we have to have a special.
Well, let's talk, Sean. And by the way, I think I did a demo in the 90s at what was then Hidden Valley. I grew up in Westchester County, New York, and skied over at what was then Vernon Valley and Great Gorge. So I'm quite familiar with that area.
You wouldn't recognize it, though.
Well, the video looks amazing.
We're about to open up 27,000 square feet of additional lodge addition so that we can get to that 10,000 kids. So, but let me explain. It's we have so many great supporters, and you know, one thing is surely financial to do things like this, but the emotional support of people who I know when we first started said, "Let me hear this again." So you're a Black individual, you're going to purchase a ski area that's been bankrupt, and you're going to rebuild it and open up for kids who don't traditionally have access to it. And then you're going to host a NORAM in New Jersey. You know, but it's a testament to both those supporters, you know, and my team, but also to those who were ambivalent and anxious about it, because now we can say, for those of you who said, well, let's see what happens when it gets done. We're done. And, you know, the link for donating is there. And should it be not enough spaces when you go to donate to put in your contribution, you can be more than happy to give me an email or text me, and I'll be great to reach out and figure out how we can make that happen.
That's great, Sean. And let's get something going on the forum as well, Phil.
Yep. As we say, no donations too small, no donations too large.
That's it. And my hat's off to you for getting that going. Hey, it's that time of the show here where we go round table. We ask each other questions and banter for a bit. And we're going to open up with you, Dennis. You want to ask anybody on the panel a question? Go for it.
Wow, put me on the spot there. Phil. So what do you see as the next big trend in ski equipment? That's a big one.
We're seeing it starting right now. We're seeing, I mean, so much has been done now with the skis and as far as the shapes and such. What we're seeing a lot now, and seeing it from you guys too, is a lot of scaling of sizes where everybody, no matter what the size of the ski is, they're going to get the same experience. So most of it, when you guys design skis, you start with your core sizes of maybe 170, 178. Then sometimes the bookend sizes do get a little disproportionate. So what we're seeing and what we like to see is that product is scaled proportionally. So that person on that 162 is going to get the same experience as that person on that 178. And that can be done a number of different ways, whether it be scaling flexes, scaling constructions, and or scaling shapes, or a combination of the three. So we're seeing a lot of that happening, and people looking for that. The one thing, and we've got a current discussion going on right now on the site as far as transparency in boot flexes and boot sizing, and what is a 110 flex, what is a 130 flex, what is 100 millimeter wide boot, what does that really mean, and how do these numbers translate not only from brand to brand, but from model to model, and where we're seeing inconsistencies. So if we can see a little more direction that way, I think really it gets out to the consumer so they can understand better, especially we're right now in an environment where there's a lot of remote shopping, and not everybody can get into the shop for that full experience, that they need to be a little more educated. I mean, we're doing the best that we can in getting that information out there. But again, this is a trifold area, whether it's the retailer, the consumer, the manufacturer, and us, all working together in getting the proper information out there.
Well, you're spot on. The challenge of the traditional way of building skis in particular, you'd develop the prototype size, and then you'd, with a CAD CAM program, go up or down. And what you would get is short skis that were overly stiff and long skis that were overly soft. And then you would play with the side cuts, or if you didn't play with the side cuts or the dimensions, you would have tight radius in the small sizes and long radius or radii and long lengths. And one of the things that we did with this new M-line collection, not to get into that, but we scaled everything, especially on the women's side, because we don't make a specific women's ski, but we scale it to the appropriate weight and leverage that skier is applying to the ski.
That's those are really good points, and I like the point too about getting some communication on the boot flex. When people come to ski with my camps and my clinics, there's just so much unknown about a 110 versus a 130 from brand to brand. So I think that's a really interesting point.
Yeah, there's no consistency and there's no standard. So it's impossible to compare. We do the best we can. I can tell you that the durometer of the plastics that we use are different as you go up from, say, a 100 to a 120 to a 130. And that's one of the factors that determines the performance level or the flex index, as well as the amount of compression that the liner will apply to the foot.
Dennis, you want to answer this question on screen here about the color on the rear housing of the...
It's a good question. A lot of times it's all about the industrial side and just I don't want to say what's easier, but what they can pull off and what they can't. And so I don't think we certainly didn't tell them to do one or the other. I think when we saw that gold binding come through, we were blown away. And it was one of those situations where we said, just deliver it as is, and it's going to kill it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Sean, you have a question for anybody?
Actually, I do. I have for all three of you. Given the impact of COVID-19 and how it's causing all of us to adjust and to pivot, what can and what should an organization like Winter for Kids and other organizations do to ensure that we have continuous, competent growth in the industry for the future?
I think that's a great question, right? Because there's so much unknown. Of course, there's some hope now with turning a corner here, potentially with the vaccine and thing. But I think that when you look at the ski areas across the board, across the country, they're really being forthcoming with all of their policies and their researches. And I think they're synchronizing more than ever with the state governors and interacting more on that level. So, it used to be ski areas opened up and kind of each one was an island working on their own. Now what I'm seeing is statewide, ski areas with a lot of communication with each other, a lot of communication with state government, and of course national government. So I think in general we get some confidence that they're doing the best they can to keep everybody safe. And I think your situation there in Jersey, where you basically have your own facility, your own campus, and your ability to control it is huge. So I think the downside of all this is that we're seeing racing. We've talked a lot about racing, racing, some of the events, some of these things that where the ski industry has sort of helped out with low cost on lift tickets and are being eliminated. And hopefully they'll come back with vengeance. That's where I see the big problem. But what do you think, Phil?
I agree. And I mean, you guys are such on a great track in what you're doing with your organization. It's just incredible to get the kids from the urban areas out and enjoying that outside experience and getting away from the phone and the games and whatever there is that perceived to be an activity when really it's not, but getting them on the hills. And what I forget who exactly said it earlier, but when you're good at something, you'll continue doing it. And getting these kids good at doing something, I think, is huge, because this is a sport that we can do until we die. I mean, there's no age limit. We've got Klaus Albermeyer out there at 102 years old enjoying this sport. And you see the size of the smile on his face. And if he wasn't skiing, I doubt he would have lasted this long. But I mean, you've got an opportunity to bring such a tremendous activity to these kids. Keep doing what you're doing, I think, is the main thing. And let us help get that word out there for these kids and to make the programs more aware. So I think the main thing that we can do as far as for you guys is to create awareness and to get more people knowledgeable of your program.
One thing, obviously the buses and the shuttles are the big problem right now with COVID. So it's organizing access for transportation. It's not so much the mountain, right? The mountain is plenty of places to social distance and ski. But I was wondering, Dennis, what are you hearing about your school programs in Park City and around the greater Utah area? How are they dealing with this, that they can't get kids on buses to go to these resorts?
Yeah, that's a good question. I can't tell you specifically what's going on, but the thing really, to answer Sean's question or to comment on it, the one of the upsides of the pandemic is that people are realizing how important outdoor recreation is. And when you take it away, even for those of us living in the mountains and blessed to do so, it's been harder to do it. And you have a new appreciation for it. And for some of us, we've taken it for granted. And for others, like in the Metro New York area, they're starving to get out and be outside, especially when you're forced to shelter in place or lock down. So, this is temporary, and this will be a challenging year for all of us in the industry in every capacity, the resorts, manufacturers, the retailers, the programs, but it's temporary. And going forward, I think we all will, and I certainly will, have a newfound appreciation for the industry and the sport. And I'm looking forward to next season, because with this in the rearview mirror, we have a tremendous upside, and there may be significant growth in the industry, which really we haven't seen. The skier participation rates are not really moving up. Certainly the value passes have helped. There are more people committing to the sport, and that's helping. But I really think people are going to want to get outside winter and summer, and we have an opportunity to see some growth.
And Phil, you have any question for anybody?
We got a quick one for Dennis. Going back to the Pivot 15, the next evolution we'd like to see an 85 millimeter brake. I mean, we've got a lot of flat skis out there that are in that mid 80s that people want to put a pivot on. That 75 is a little too narrow, and the 95 does hang over a bit. And also a metal coupling for where you put the pole in to release the binding. Those are the two things that we've been asking for the next generation of that binding. And then Dan, we also have a situation where I came across a piece of information that Nelson's going to share here on the screen that actually is for you and for Dennis.
That is classic.
I found this in Ski Magazine doing some research, and since Dennis is here with Kerma, maybe he can help you get those grips that you're looking for again.
Hey, seriously, they were the best fit. I never had a grip that was as good as the Kerma grip, and
Leather strap,
right? They broke right in. The orange, I remember it as an orange and handle, Dennis.
Well, we had all different colors. We had the clear one that you could see through.
Yeah.
They had some white ones, some fluorescent orange. In fact, when I was in college up at St. Michael's, there was a place in Waitsfield that I think was the distributor at the time that we went and got our poles from them.
Well, that's a great piece of history there, Phil. Well done. And I still remember the day we took that photo, and they asked me what my favorite piece of equipment was, and it was a Kerma grip. And I'm sad that I no longer have them. So whatever you can do, Dennis, I'm all in.
One battle at a time,
I can't believe it. It's got to get to the top of the list. I'm sure you got nothing else on the list. And of course, here at Ski Talk, we always like to end with a ski movie. And this week, Big Sky, Montana, where I'm currently sitting and had a beautiful day of skiing, recently released this nighttime skiing the A to Z shoots at night. They lit them up with a drone and a spotlight, and the skiers had headlamps on. Let's check it out. Well, there you have it. If you want to straight run it at night, I'm told by the resort it won't be open to the public, but it was COVID safe, and we're all waiting for the A to Z's to get filled in up here with more winter storms. Well, you've all done it again tonight. You've wasted another perfect Wednesday night right here on Ski Talk. We want to thank Dennis and Sean for joining us. Please come back to the show. Phil, keep up the pressure on those manufacturers. We're going to get all the products we want and need. Dennis, I'm waiting for my Kerma poles. And have a great holiday, everybody. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, and we'll see you back here on, I believe, December 30th.
2 weeks.
2 weeks from now. And thanks again, everybody. Appreciate your time.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.